Hi guys, Judy here. I'm so excited. I got more revelation from God on the who's being taken in the rapture. Okay, so when God fell on my son, he said 18 and under are all being taken. Okay, and he said with the exception of a few teenagers who knew better. Okay, they're all being taken up. Now, I just was like, okay, that's cool and everything because I work with high schoolers and I know they shouldn't even be held accountable for a lot of the stuff that they're involved in, that the Bible calls sin, because they didn't even have anyone teaching them. It's horrible. And these kids, I love them like they're my own, okay? But I mean, and they're not just, they're 16, 17, and some of them are 18. They're beautiful people. And so when God told my son that, I was so very happy because I would cry because they received the Lord, but then they were all involved in all their sin. And I just wasn't sure where they stood, but they were learning to love God and talk to him and asking me if certain things were sins, and I was able to tell them yes or no. And God told me never to discuss their sin until they came and asked me. So he said, just tell them about me and how to have a relationship with me. And then, but just ask if they ask you. So they did start asking me. And so it was very precious time. And he said, and be sure when you tell them the answer about their sin, that I will be the one that will empower them to change. And they don't have to change overnight. Just know that I love them, but I will give them the power to change. So anyway, that was in 2013, before I quit work. Okay. Well, full time anyway, long story short. Okay. Let me just get to the point. So now that seems a little weird that you're going in the rapture if you're a teenager and you're going to be at the wedding supper of the Lamb and you don't even, because the wedding supper of the Lamb is really, it's reserved. It's a very special event. God told my son not many people are going to be there. It's reserved for lovers of God and lovers of one another. So I was trying to figure out, okay, so I'm glad they're being taken, but I don't know if they would really fit in at the wedding supper because they're not like in love with God or anything yet. They're just, most of them don't even really want him, but they're just being, and then God revealed to me, I'm so excited. So I've asked for a lot more than what God gives me, because one day he told me, I've given you and your son enough. I'm going to give other people puzzle pieces. And because I was asking how long the actual trip was, because I know it's not 7 years. And he was like, I've given you enough for now. And so I quit asking him every little question. But I was in my kitchen the other day, and that came to me. And I'm free to share it now, because I don't go spouting off things that are in my imagination, because that's good. That's where God originates his speaking with you. Okay. But you have to know when it's your thinking and his thinking, and you will, because my sheep hear my voice and they know me. So this was one I was sitting on. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is from you. I'm like almost 100% positive, but I'm not going to go out there and say this is what I know is to be true if I don't know. So, but I get to share it now, and I'm really excited. Okay, so what he says, when he told my son I will be taking them, he is taking the kids under 18, with the exception of a few teenagers. He's taking them up out of here. They're not going to the wedding supper. They're going to just be taken to a place of safety, if you will. God has many different places in heaven, okay? And they will be taken to a place of safety, because he said they're not accountable for what they don't know. They don't know any better. They don't know their left hand from their right hand, because of the evil that they've grown up in, okay? I was so excited because, see, they have to choose him, and they will get that choice. And during the millennial reign, when Satan is thrown down one more time, they can choose to go with him. They'll be schooled in heaven, and they can make choices. And this is amazing, because, see, God can't ever violate a free will, but he is violating their free will by taking them up out of here to a place of safety. He is doing that. So he has to give them a chance to choose him, but it wouldn't be fair to let them sit here and burn when they're innocent of evil. And you say, oh, Judy, how are they innocent of evil? They're gays, they're lesbians, they don't know any better, you guys. They think smoking pot, I mean, when I was in high school, you were a pothead if you smoked pot. Nowadays, it's like, if you don't, you're weird. It's just horrible, like everything that comes at young people. you know, the depression, the anxiety, the pot smoking, and all the support guidance counselors that encourage them to be sexually confused. I swear, you can't have a Bible study, but you can have homosexual groups all over the place. It's not their fault. God said, and I attest to that, being a teacher for many years. I'm telling you, over 20 years here now. I can almost retire, okay? And God loves them. And this is the revelation he's been processing in me, because I was so, and when he told my son that my mom and my brother, who was a flaming homosexual at the time, I mean, like actively gay, like trying to tell me that he's going to tell my son that it's okay to be gay. And I'm like, no, you're not even coming in my house. I mean, he was yelling at me saying I should be, my child should be taken to CPS because I tell my child that being gay is a sin. I mean, he hated me. He was threatening me. And then God turned him around. But God told my son back before I saw evidence that, oh, Mom, by the way, God says Grandma and Uncle Uncle so-and-so are going in the rapture. And I was like shocked out of my brain. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, how's that? Because both of them hate me. And since then, God has done a great work, okay? They're going. And God knew. So anyway, the young will be taken, okay? The ones that are innocent of evil. And I know you think my teenager's not innocent, and some of them are, but some of them aren't, okay? There will be some teenagers left behind, and they will be disciplined here, okay? God told my son that, with the exception of a few. Just ones that are blatantly on purpose, they know. But there's others that didn't get a chance to know because of their upbringing. Okay. And God's the judge. Don't ask me every other question. I don't know. I can't answer everything, but so when you see this mass disappearance, this is what makes sense now. Cause I was like, wait, how come you're saying that hardly anyone is going to the supper? He would tell my son, hardly anyone's going to be there. But if you say that all the children under 18 are going, that's a lot of people. That's going to be a really big wedding. No, they're not in the ceremony. They're going to be taken to a place of safety so they can choose him in a free choice setting. That's just blowing my mind. So you guys, the marriage supper of the Lamb will not be polluted with people that don't know better. There'll be plenty of children there. My son's eating there. He was going to eat there when he was 10. God already showed him his menu, what he was eating. And he showed my son that the menus are amazing. Everybody gets what they want, but it's already been chosen because God knows their favorite foods. Anyway, so yeah, the kids will be there that have a relationship and love with God. Even if they're really teeny, they love and know God, okay? But there's going to be some that are taken to safety, but they're not going to be at the supper, okay? But they're being taken up out of here. That's why the mass disappearance is going to be so big. That's why they're going to be able to do their alien cover-up, okay? Because there's going to be a ton of people taken, but not everyone that's taken is going to the wedding marriage supper of the Lamb. So this is the information that God has been sharing with me. He's given me a little bit more that I'm going to tell you a little more. He's been talking to me about the black-eyed children and alien stuff, and I'm like, I really don't care. It's really not my thing, but he's been having me study it and watch L.A. Marzulli, and I'm just like, sort of, I'm only interested because he's provoking me to look at it, and he's making me curious, but that's not really something I care about. But he was speaking to me about the alien cover-up and the black-eyed children and the different little demonic things that are going on right now. So all I'm going to say is this. Evil is already here. It's already walking around among us. But he told me not to assume anyone is a hybrid or he said, don't assume everyone that you run across in your daily life is salvageable, can be saved. Don't look at them. Because I was really starting to look at people like, wait, are you even human? I was starting, I don't know if, I was just starting to have thoughts. Because I know some pretty evil people in the school system. And I'm thinking, I wonder if they're like a hybrid something or other. Because they're just so evil, And God said, no, don't do that. Not yet. Don't. Just know that, just pray for them all like they can be saved. So, but these things and entities are around right now. We're not to focus on them, but we are to not be unaware of the evil. And just be excited, you guys, because he's taking many to safety, which is why the rapture is a big deal. the taking away of everyone under 18 and under, okay? And with the exception of a few teenagers that know better. But there will be kids at the wedding supper of the Lamb. At the marriage supper, there will be, okay? But there's going to be people that are taken that aren't at the marriage ceremony. They're just simply not ready yet, okay? He took them to safety because they need to have a fair chance to choose him, okay? And they didn't really have that fair chance when they are not even exposed to what's right and what's wrong, honestly. His grace is really big. So be excited. This is information that the Lord has given me. I don't really care to argue about it or you try to give me your reasoning. I'm just sharing with you to bless you. I love it when I get nuggets like this. I consider this a really big nugget because it answers a lot of my questions. Because a lot of the things he told my son I've intellectually had a hard time understanding it, although I receive it because I know it's true. And it's a thus says the Lord. But he's like, right before we go now, he's sort of filling me in. There's other things too I'll make videos on if we're here. But he's filling me in because my head's in the clouds. All I think about is him in this event called the Rapture and the wedding supper of the Lamb. That's all I'm thinking about. That's all he's talking to me about. And he's causing me to be that way. I couldn't even focus today at work. I'm so glad I'm home. I just said, Lord, you got to come. I can't even focus. He's like, I know. I am. Don't worry. But I'm teaching summer school if we're here, and I've got to meet with the teacher and get all her stuff, and I have to like put it all together. And I'm thinking, okay, well, you're going to have to help me because I'm so out to lunch. It's from June 12th to July 14th, the summer school, and I'm happy to do it. But it's just, I hope we're not here. And if we are, I'll have the grace and I'll do a great job because the Lord is good. But I love you guys and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.